The open road, it always holds surprises, doesn't it? But lately, the trucking industry feels like it's just constantly shifting under our feet. We're talking everything from, bumpy economic forecasts to disruptive tech, new regulations, even some hard truths about what you actually earn behind the wheel. It's easy to feel like you're just reacting. Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we unpack the information you need to stay well informed, but, without the overload. Today, we're taking a deep dive into several recent reports. We've got stuff from ACT Research, FreightWaves, and some really great insights from channels like Life as a Trucker and Truckers VA. These sources, they give us a vital snapshot of the North American trucking industry right now.
Exactly. And our mission today is really to distill the most important nuggets from all these sources. We want to help you understand this complex landscape, connect the dots, and most importantly, gain some actionable insights so you can really thrive. As Hervey from Life as a Trucker consistently emphasizes, it's about seeing these issues from all angles. That way you can truly protect your livelihood, make informed decisions.
Right. We're here to help you understand not just what is happening, but why it matters directly to your life, your livelihood on the road. Okay then, let's unpack this. Let's kick things off with the big picture, the overall health of the trucking economy. What are ACC Research and the other analysts seeing out there? Is it smooth sailing or is it still looking a bit choppy?
Well, ACT Research's latest forecast, it shows the North American trucking industry showing signs of life, which is, good news on the surface.
Yeah.
But they're quick to add it's a bumpy but navigable road ahead. So freight demand is ticking up, but it's described as more like a crawl than a sprint.
Yeah.
It's still way below pre-pandemic firepower. So yeah, we're talking gradual recovery, not some sudden boom.
A crawl, not a sprint. Okay.
Yeah, and the reasons behind that cautious optimism are pretty consistent across the reports we looked at. Consumers, well, they aren't spending on goods like they used to. They're prioritizing services more. And warehouses, they're still holding on to what they call bloated inventories from back in 2022. Still. Which means shippers aren't exactly in a rush to move goods. That naturally keeps freight volumes kind of subdued. It's that classic supply and demand challenge,
That makes sense. And here's where it gets really interesting for you out there on the road. The reports indicate that private fleets are actually stepping up. They're covering more of their own freight now. What does that mean for the for-hire carriers? And, ultimately for individual truckers like you?
Oh, it definitely creates tighter competition. Absolutely. If a big company can move its own goods internally, well, it's less reliant on external carriers, right? So this means for hire carriers, especially the smaller ones, they face a tougher fight for the loads that are available. Some truckers are indeed, as one report put it, feeling squeezed off the map as a result.
Squeezed off the map. Yeah, that sounds tough.
It really highlights just how critical it is to stay efficient, stay competitive in this kind of environment. But on a more positive note, capacity is slowly starting to balance out. We're seeing Class 8 build rates coming down to earth around 800 trucks per day back in April. And here's a surprising twist. Used equipment is finally moving. Sales jumped, 8.6% from March to April?
Oh, really? That's significant.
It is. That's a strong indicator that fleets are strategically upgrading again, and there's renewed interest in affordable, reliable used trucks. That points towards a healthier market developing, slowly but surely.
Okay, so some positive signs on capacity in used trucks. But despite these little signs of life, what does this all mean for your daily grind, for what you're actually seeing when you check those load boards?
Unfortunately, yeah, rates are still pretty much stuck in the mud. While flatbeds and reefers did see some small bumps back in May, dry vans, they've flatlined.
Flatlined. Yeah.
Yeah. Not even the typical seasonal gains help them out much. And this puts immense pressure on carriers and drivers alike, especially when you factor in rising costs.
Right, the costs.
Speaking of costs, input expenses are definitely on the rise. Those new tariffs on steel and aluminum, they're adding roughly $360 per truck and about $570 per trailer to new equipment costs.
Wow.
That really squeezes margins for everyone, particularly if you're not one of the biggest, most efficient fleets out there. If you're already running lean, running disciplined, you might weather it okay. But otherwise, it's the verdict from FreightWaves is pretty stark. They basically said most driver wage marketing is smoke and mirrors. They found all these common tactics like advertising up to earnings, which, uses best case scenarios like team driving or running maximum hours. Impossible for most. Then you've got these guaranteed pay programs that often only work under absolutely ideal conditions, and bonus stacking that's incredibly hard to actually qualify for. Essentially, as the report put it, drivers are promised steak but end up with spam.
That promise steak but end up with spam analogy.
Ah.
Wow, that really hits hard, doesn't it? The disconnect between those flashy ads and the reality sounds just stark. So if that's the smoke and mirrors, what are drivers actually earning out there, according to the data?
Well, Department of Labor stats, they show the median trucker pay somewhere between $54,000 and $62,000 per year. Many company drivers are averaging more like $900 to $1,200 per week. Owner-operators might gross more on paper, sure, but their expenses, fuel, maintenance, insurance, they eat a huge chunk of that. There was one ex-driver quoted in the FreightWaves report, said they were promised $1,800 a week. What they actually averaged, maybe $1,050 after fuel and breakdowns.
Oof, less than 60% of what was promised.
Exactly. It truly underscores how important it is for you to calculate your true net income, not just look at that big advertised gross number.
So why do it? Why do carriers stretch the truth so much? What's the underlying issue here?
Well, it really boils down to a serious hiring crisis. The average driver age is over 50 now. Turnover rates are still brutal, especially for new drivers. Many new CDL holders leave within the first 12 months. Recruiters in the report even admitted they use those up-to earnings figures because, and I quote, "that's what gets clicks."
It's clicks.
Yeah. It's a tough situation for everyone involved, no doubt. But knowing the truth, understanding the game, that empowers you to make better choices for yourself.
Absolutely. It's a challenging situation, and it just highlights the need for real transparency, doesn't it? This is exactly where seeing issues from all angles, like her V from life, as a trucker always advises, becomes so incredibly important. You need to know the true net income, not just the flashy number. It's about protecting yourself, protecting your financial future in an industry that can be, well, pretty unpredictable.
Okay, so we've talked about the immediate economic pressures, how that's hitting your bottom line, but looking a bit further ahead, there's another powerful force shaping your future on the road. That's the tectonic shifts happening in corporate boardrooms. What are the big players doing, and how's that going to change your daily runs? This whole movement kind of smells a lot like AI-fueled transformation, as one source put it. It really does smell like that, yeah. We're seeing major leadership changes at the big players that absolutely reflect this intense focus on digital transformation. Take Marcus Voss stepping in as CEO of DHL Freight. This guy has serious chops in digital transformation and supply chain IT. That's his background. And DHL is now actively uniting its freight and supply chain operations. That means less duplication and more automation right across the board. He's even creating a new European Transportation Board to unify strategy over there. That will inevitably ripple through their global operations, impacting everything from how loads are assigned to delivery protocols, you name it.
Interesting. So it's not just talk, they're restructuring for it.
Exactly. And it's not just DHL either. Daimler Truck is shifting its financial and strategy leaders around. That signals massive investment coming in electric trucks, sure, but also AI diagnostics, smart logistics tools, the whole digital package. Goodyear, they've got a new VP of Investor Relations that often hints at big tech partnerships in the pipeline, especially since they already have smart tires collecting data out there. Even Cargobull North America, they're focusing hard on data-driven uptime and smart maintenance support for their reefer trailers. These are all just undeniable signals of a profound shift towards tech integration.
Right. So if we connect these dots, looking at the bigger picture, it's pretty clear digital freight is really taking over, isn't it? Companies are making digital coordination a core mission. We're talking AI that predicts demand, routing based on real-time traffic, automated dock scheduling. These aren't sci-fi concepts anymore. They're actively being integrated into the very fabric of logistics. So the big question for you, the trucker, what does this all mean? Are you being replaced, or is this a chance to level up?
I think the consensus from the sources, especially the ones focused on empowering drivers, is that this is truly a window of opportunity to level up. They recommend you actively learn the tech, don't be afraid of it, upgrade your gear. Not just ELDs, but maybe tire sensors that give you real-time data. And watch for new players in the logistics space. Because the companies that master smart logistics, they're the ones who will win the big contracts and hire the best drivers. It's about adapting your skills, becoming a more valuable asset in this evolving landscape.
So embrace the change, basically. Learn the tools.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
AI and automation, they aren't just coming soon. They're already here and accelerating in various forms. And this is precisely why, as Life as a Trucker strongly suggests, learning AI tools and maybe even building some online income streams while you're still trucking is potentially the smartest move you can make. It's presented as a vital shield, a shield from some of the ups and downs of freight rates in the economy. It offers a pathway to more financial independence, more personal control over your future.
That's a powerful idea, building a shield for yourself. Okay, we've explored the tech that's coming down the pike. But what about the rules of the road itself? The policy landscape is also shifting, and what happens in Washington or, state capitals, that directly impacts how you drive, what you drive, even how fast you can drive.
Indeed it does. Take Oregon. They recently adopted some pretty bold GHG emission standards for medium and heavy-duty trucks. They're aligning with California's Advanced Clean Trucks, or ACT, rules. This basically requires manufacturers to gradually increase their sales of electric trucks, starting with model year 2025. It's a significant push towards electrification on the West Coast, aiming for cleaner air.
Okay, but what's fascinating here is the push and pull, right? Because while that's the policy on the books.
Right. Enforcement of those rules is actually delayed for 2025, 2026. Why? Because there was heavy backlash from manufacturers and legislators. The state's DEQ director cited a lack of federal backing and general market instability. We even saw Daimler temporarily halt diesel sales in protest in response to all this.
Wow, even the governor.
Yeah, Governor Kotek herself criticized the federal delays in funding the charging infrastructure needed for these electric trucks. It's a really clear example of how complex these transitions are. You've got different forces pulling in different directions all the time.
So what does that mean for you, the driver, listening right now?
Well, it raises an important question. While this delay might give everyone some breathing room, these EV mandates may still return if states fight back or the federal administration shifts down the line. So the sources advise you to prepare, start planning for potential infrastructure needs, tech upgrades now, even if it's just mentally, and critically, engage locally. Your voice, your real-world experience, it can influence policy and funding decisions. Make sure mandates align with the practical realities you face on the ground every day.
That's good advice. Engage locally.
Yeah.
But hey, not all policy news is a stall or a future mandate. There's actually been a rare and pretty significant win for drivers recently, something that will probably make a lot of you cheer.
Oh, absolutely. This was big news. The U.S. Department of Transportation just withdrew that proposed rule that would have required speed limiters on most commercial trucks.
Huge.
Huge. Transportation Secretary Jennifer Duffy stated, quote, "Washington spent too long making life harder for truckers. That ends today." That's a strong statement. This is massive for driver autonomy, for efficiency, and frankly, just for feeling respected on the road.
That must have felt good to hear for a lot of drivers.
I bet. And this wasn't just an isolated decision either. It's apparently part of a broader pro-trucker package. That package also includes new federal funding specifically for truck parking, a huge issue, we all know, and a streamlined hours of service review process. OIDEA and other driver advocacy groups, they cheered this. They said driver voices are finally being heard. It really does feel like a moment where your concerns are actually translating into real policy changes.
That really is a breath of fresh air. Okay, and moving to the practical side, beyond policy and big corporate shifts, innovation keeps rolling forward with new equipment too, right? Stuff that addresses real-world needs, like take specialized trailers. There's a new Diamondback grain hauler mentioned in the sources. It sounds like a great example of manufacturers focusing on functionality for really specific, challenging operations.
That's exactly right. This trailer was apparently designed with real-world grain operations in mind, meaning functionality came first. It boasts things like high-volume hopper capacity, more payload per trip, a smooth flow chute design for quicker unloads, fewer clogs, which is critical in grain, and a rugged aluminum and stainless steel combo body. That means less weight, but more strength. Plus, it's built for back roads, high clearance, reinforced suspension. Absolutely crucial for navigating rough terrain in grain country.
Yeah, those back roads can be brutal.
For sure. So it's not trying to reinvent the wheel, necessarily. It's more about improving every single touch point, from loading to the actual unloading process. What really stood out from the feedback from real haulers who tested it was its simplicity, its strength, and its reliability. One guy, Lucas T., said the unload speed is just smooth as butter.
Smooth as butter. Nice.
Yeah. It's about practical innovation that directly benefits your work, makes your job easier, makes you more efficient.
Okay, this is great. Now, shifting gears again. This brings us to the really big shifts happening in the industry structure itself. We're talking terminal sales, bankruptcies. This stuff sounds like turbulence, but it's also transformation.
Yeah.
And it affects every one of you out there, especially when it comes to job security.
Yeah, this is crucial stuff. After Yellow Corporation's massive bankruptcy, which everyone remembers its huge network of terminals, became the industry's hottest real estate.
Hmm.
Companies like A. Dewey Pyle, Estes Express Lines, R plus L carriers, TFI International, they moved in fast, picking up terminals. Estes and R plus L, for instance, they dropped nearly $200 million just for 12 locations between them. This is a massive consolidation move, and it's changing the competitive map dramatically.
$200 million for 12 spots.
Wow.
Why are these terminals so valuable?
Well, these terminals are absolutely key to fast freight flow and lower regional delivery costs for the companies buying them. They're strategic hubs. So for you, if you're an LTL driver or maybe even a shipper listening, who owns your terminal affects your lanes, your loads, and your labor conditions. It's really critical to stay informed about these shifts happening in your specific region because they can directly impact your daily routes and your future prospects.
Okay, so consolidation on one hand, but alongside that, we're also seeing, a rising tide of Chapter 11 filings for other fleets. That's a different kind of turbulence and a real worry for drivers.
Definitely a worry. Trucking Dive reported that Dolce Truckload, about a 50-truck fleet, filed for Chapter 11 back in June. And there have been others recently: Walls Transport, Best Logistics, CNC Freight Network, Best Choice Trucking. The really big one recently was Cal Freight. They filed with a staggering $325 million in debt. That clearly signals overexpansion during the pandemic freight boom that they just couldn't sustain when things cooled off.
$325 million, that's huge.
Yep.
And what happens to the drivers when a company goes under like that?
Well, sadly, drivers from some of these bankrupt fleets have reported awful situations. Things like unpaid wages, ghosted maintenance schedules, even finding abandoned trucks at rest stops just left there.
Oh man, that's terrible.
It really raises an incredibly important question about protecting yourself. How do you avoid getting caught in a company's financial downturn like that?
That's truly devastating for those drivers caught in the middle. And this is precisely where that idea we talked about earlier, building a shield, comes in again, doesn't it? Hervey and the team at Life as a Trucker, they really emphasize being able to get out on your terms, creating extra streams of income. It's about empowering yourself against this kind of market volatility.
Exactly. The sources, particularly the ones focused on driver empowerment, like Life as a Trucker, they consistently highlight a potential solution: training truckers on how to use AI in order to create extra streams of income. This really acts as that shield from some of the ups and downs of freight rates in the economy. It offers a reliable alternative, something you control. Having recurring online income can help you retire when you want to, not when the market dictates. And critically, it can soften the blow should your trucking company cease to exist. It's really about taking control of your future rather than just reacting to whatever the market throws at you.
It really is about those proactive steps, isn't it? Taking control, using your off-duty time wisely, maybe learning new skills, building those online income streams. It sounds like that's how you ensure you feel respected, feel supported, not just by waiting for the industry to change, but by building your own foundation, no matter what happens. It's about truly changing things for yourself. So let's wrap this up. What does this all mean for the road ahead? It sounds like the trucking industry is definitely in a reset, maybe not a total collapse, but a period of significant recalibration.
That's the core message coming through, yeah. Stronger carriers, they're doubling down on things like terminal control, securing their networks, streamlining operations for efficiency. Weaker fleets, unfortunately, are folding under that post-pandemic debt burden, unable to adapt quickly enough. And critically, as we discussed, drivers are finally getting some policy wins after feeling like, regulators punching bags for years. The real winners in this moment, it seems like it'll be the folks who stay lean, stay alert, and maybe most importantly, stay adaptable.
Adaptable. That seems key. You've now heard about the economic challenges, the tech transformations coming, the policy battles playing out, and the shifts in company structures. But hopefully, our deep dive today shows you there's a clear path forward. Not just to survive, but maybe to actually thrive by taking active, informed steps.
And remember, knowledge is most valuable when you understand it and then apply it, right? This deep dive hopefully shows you that truly protecting yourself, feeling respected, feeling supported, it isn't just about waiting for things to change for you. It's really about taking those active steps to change things for yourself, building that shield.
Well said. All right, here's a final provocative thought for you to mull over as you hit the road this week. In an industry that's defined by constant movement, what's one step you can take this week, using maybe just a bit of your off-duty time to build a future that moves with you, rather than just reacting to whatever the road throws ahead? Think about how you might leverage some new skills, maybe explore those online opportunities to create that recurring income Hervey talks about, to truly retire on your own terms. Something to think about.